Part 46. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 453. 451. But Huo Jekian was her husband after all, and Huo Yingqi was his daughter. Her husband said that just to make her parents-in-law look good. Jekian, what do you think we should do now? Huo's sister-in-law said, that kid Yingqi is so stupid. With her attitude today, my father-in-law and mother-in-law are bound to be tired of her. Huo Jekian was very disappointed and sighed, Yingqi can't carry her anymore. You can't treat her like a child anymore. You know, a family like ours can still tolerate Yingqi. If she goes to her husband's house, will it still be like this? How can our Huo family's daughter be bullied when she gets married, said the Huo family's sister-in-law. She must be careful when finding a partner for her daughter. Upon hearing this, Huo Jekian was unhappy and sneered, the Huo family is in the limelight, how can a married daughter be proud of her? If she can't figure things out, it's useless no matter how strong her family's backers are. It seems that Yingqi is out of her mind. I don't blame her for not being able to carry it clearly, because she has a mother who can't carry it clearly. With his parents here, the second brother regards the eldest brother as the top priority. He has been away from home all these years. In terms of ability, Huo Jekian thinks he is not as good as his second brother. When the parents are gone, the second brother's family may not be willing to do this. Furthermore, my son Huo Yingjun is married and will have his own family in the future. Who will care about my confused sister and niece in the future? Huo Jekian, why are you talking about me? I am not the only one who gave birth to my daughter, you also have the credit, the Huo family's sister-in-law scolded angrily. She couldn't bear it anymore. She had worked hard to be a lowly child, and after so many years, in exchange for the sentences actually can't figure it out. Huo Jekian sneered, you can try to see if I will divorce you. After speaking, he went directly to his study. The Huo family's sister-in-law was so frightened that she sat down on the chair, remained silent for a long time, and then covered her face and cried loudly. I felt wronged and even more sad. Mr. Huo and Ms. Huo were in a bad mood in the house. They were celebrating the new year and something like this happened. She looks like a prodigal, Mr. Huo said sadly, I shouldn't have agreed to this marriage when I was drunk. She is not worthy of my son. Ms. Huo frowned and cursed in a low voice, it's too late to regret now, where could I have gone earlier? She didn't agree to the marriage with the Song family at first, but the old man wanted to save face and insisted on agreeing. Hey, as the old saying goes, a good wife will bring less trouble to the husband, but an unkind wife will bring trouble to 3 generations. It's true, Mr. Huo lamented, fortunately, the boss can handle it, otherwise, why? Seeing that the old man was so disappointed, Ms. Huo persuaded him, okay, children and grandchildren will have their own blessings. At your age, don't worry about the younger generation. That's what I say, but how many people can do it? Mr. Huo said. The second brother said that Yingja is engaged. Girl, what did you think when we met last time? After hearing this, Ms. Huo smiled and said, she is a good girl, with clear eyes and a right mind. And she is not as strong-willed as Huan. No wonder the second couple and Yingja are so rare. I think it's good too, Mr. Huo said, you still have good taste. I didn't believe it when you said that the boss's wife was not good, but now I believe it. At that time, when the second brother brought his wife back, I still disliked the Zhang family. You said the second daughter-in-law is a nice person. We got her as a daughter-in-law, not from the Zhang family. Now she looks really good. Ms. Huo was quite proud and said, it is said that men are open-minded, have a long-term vision, and have great achievements. In fact, the same is true for women. Women who can only see a little distance from the tip of their noses and whose thoughts are like the tip of a needle cannot manage themselves well. Family. As for career, there won't be much success. Haha, yes, so you are better than me. Seeing his wife like this, Mr. Huo felt like he was back when he was young, and his dull mood became better. We have each other's pros and cons, but the most important thing is that we can see how much we weigh. Mrs. Huo smiled. Fortunately, the Huo family is on the right track. Let the juniors handle what happens in the future. That's the only way it can be, Mr. Huo said. He is old. Sooner or later, he will pass away. When the children grow up, it is time for them to have their own ideas. Speaking of Huo Jekan, Zhang Lifang and his wife returned to the room and looked at each other. Hey, I understand why Yinky can't figure it out. It turns out that she followed her sister-in-law Huo Jekan's side. Let's not worry about the affairs of the elder brother's family from now on. Of course I know that my sister-in-law is very narrow-minded. I couldn't tell it before, but now that my child is older, I can see it now, Zhang Lifang said. We have been outside and there has been no conflict with her, so there will probably be no major conflicts. As for the future, even if we return to Yanjing, we have to move out and not live with them. We just need to come over often to eat with my parents-in-law. That's fine, it's not good to be crowded together, Huo Jekan said. By the way, when you send Tian Tian a letter, send her something from home. If you don't have it, go out and buy it. We only have one son. Even if my son is married, there are only 4 people in the family, so we can't act like enemies. As soon as she said this, Zhang Lifang wanted to laugh and said, I know, everything is ready, I will send it tomorrow. Having said that, I really don't know what my sister-in-law thinks. It's not easy for my son to marry a wife, so my son likes it, but my sister-in-law looks at Huan like an enemy. I feel that my son is getting married and has a wife. I am worried that my son will forget his mother when he gets a wife. When Yingja gets a wife, I guess you will be the same, Huo Jekan said. He also couldn't stand his sister-in-law. What are you doing in such a good family? So vivid. I don't know how to do that, Zhang Lifang said. Don't talk to me contrary to what I'm talking about. I know it well and won't act like my sister-in-law. The young couple can live a good life, and we don't have to worry. It's good if you can think like this. You still have me, Huo Jekan said. The couple began to imagine their son getting married, and Tian Tian even gave birth to 2 grandsons and 2 granddaughters. Not to mention how beautiful it is. Zhang Lifang couldn't bear to take too many things from home, so she took the tickets and money, went out to buy some things, and sent them to Tian Tian to express her gratitude. This year is the first year of engagement. According to the rules, Huo Yingja should give things to his future father-in-law and mother-in-law, but Huo Yingja is not here, so Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang have to give them. So he bought things for He Jingyu and Wang Shuping, and planned to send them together. Over there, Mrs. Huo also prepared some and sent them to He Tian Tian as a token of appreciation. When He Tian Tian received these things, it was already the 8th day of the first lunar month. Seeing so many things, Wang Shuping and He Jingyu were also very happy, which proved that the Huo family valued their daughter. What matters is not the thing, but the intention. Star. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 454. 452. This spring festival, Grandma Chi San's house is still very lively. People who usually have a good relationship with her will come over to pay New Year greetings, those with whom she has a normal relationship will come over to pay New Year greetings, just because Grandma Chi San is not an old woman, but a person with sons and grandchildren, especially sons, whose grandchildren are so rich and outstanding. Whether you call these people realistic or snobbish, Grandma Chi San doesn't care about these at her age. Anyone who comes over will have tea and snacks. The children in the village especially like to come to Grandma Chi San's house. Because Grandma Chi San's house not only has all kinds of delicious snacks, but also many foreign snacks, especially the dark chocolate, which tastes particularly fragrant. This is He Jingyu and Wang Shuping's second year in Kijia village. Last year, He Jingyu and Wang Shuping built a new Daowen, which did not have much prestige in Kijia village. But after the peaches were sold well, the villagers' minds became more active, and they all felt that this was a way out, and they became more polite to He Jingyu and Wang Shuping. He Tiantian also received praise from many people for helping the little girls in the village to eliminate illiteracy. On this day, Qi Shulai came with a smile. He Tiantian was puzzled. Logically speaking, Qi Shulai should have been hostile to them because of what Qi and Qi Jiangguo had caused before. Why was he so polite? In the hall, Qi Shulai said with a smile, "Comrade my daughter is getting married tomorrow, you must be there." He Jingyu seemed to have no grudge at all, nodding and smiling, "Since it is a happy event for Accountant Qi's family, naturally I cannot miss it. I will definitely be there tomorrow." "Thank you very much," Qi Shulai said, "I have others to tell me to take the first step." "Accountant Qi, go slowly," He Jingyu said, politely sending Accountant Qi away. After Qi Shulai left, He Tiantian tugged on his father's arm and said, "Dad, doesn't Qi Shulai have a grudge against our family? Why did he invite us to the wedding banquet?" He Jingyu lost his mind after talking about his daughter, and said, "That's how it is in the village. When things are over, they are over. Now there is a happy event in someone's home, and they even come to the door in person. If you kick people out, you will be arrogant. After all, they are all from the same village, so we don't see each other when we look up. But he must hate us in his heart." He Tiantian said, "Dad, you must be careful when you go to the wedding banquet. Yes, of course they will hold a grudge against us, just like we will always hold a grudge and be wary of them." He Jingyu said, "There is nothing wrong with being careful. It's just that there was a banquet that day and everyone in the village would probably go there, so he didn't dare to go there playing tricks at the banquet." "That's right," He Tiantian nodded. "Then what gifts are you planning to give?" He Jingyu thought for a while and said, 50 cents, a pound of rice, this is the case in the village. We are not arrogant, and we are not shabby." "Okay," He Tiantian said. The next day, many people from Qi Shulai's family went to help. He Tiantian had just finished breakfast when Qi Daniu hurried over there, her eyes twinkling with gossip. "Daniu, why are you running away?" He Tiantian was clearing away the dishes. "I wonder what happened to the always steady Daniu Qi today." Qi Daniu smiled and whispered, "Sister Tiantian, I saw a big joke today. If I tell you, you will never believe it." "What's going on?" He Tiantian asked. Life was too boring, and she also needed the Dong family and the 11 family to change her ordinary life. "It has been rumored that today is the day when Qi Fenfen and Li Mingkai get married, but Li Mingkai interrupted the wedding. But when I went to see her again today, the bride was not Qi Fenfen, but the eldest brother Qi Zhenzhen, the one who suddenly had a pimple on his face." Niu said that she often saw Qi Fenfen and Li Mingkai walking in the village and thought that the two people would walk together. He Tiantian was stunned and said, "The bride changed from Qi Fenfen to Qi Zhenzhen." "Yes, we are all very strange," Qi Daniu said. "Originally, I wanted to ask Qi Fenfen, but she was not at home and I don't know where she went. Oops, today's happy event is really interesting." "Are you unhappy that you're on par with the accountants?" He Tiantian asked. This was a bit strange. "No, they are not embarrassed at all," Qi Daniu said. "Not only am I curious, the people who went in to help thought they were Qi Fenfen and Li Mingkai at first, but now they know that the bride is Qi Zhenzhen. It's really strange." He Tiantian said to herself, "Go and have a look. If you have any news, come and tell me." "Okay, Sister Tiantian, you wait at home." After Qi Daniu said that, she ran out again with the solace. Wang Shuping came out of the room and said, "Why do you like these right and wrong at such a young age? If it's other people's affairs, I don't care, but I have to pay attention to Qi Shulai's family." "Who asked him to embarrass me before?" He Tiantian said. Besides, our two families have a holiday, who knows whether it will happen in the future. It's not good for us, so no matter what happens in that house, I have to know something about it, so that we can win every battle. You are such a big talker. You are right in everything you say, Wang Shuping said angrily. Although her daughter is a bit petty, it is rare for her to be prepared. If you understand these ways of the world, your daughter will be able to handle the interpersonal relationships around her well in the future when she gets married. Grandma Chi-san came out of the house on tiptoe, and said with a smile, Shuping, you can't blame Tian Tian, not only in the countryside, but also in the city. Don't talk about right and wrong, but you can't be ignorant of what is right and wrong outside. Mom, you see, Grandma said so. Tian Tian felt proud to see Grandma Chi-san on her side. Okay, you are awesome, Wang Shuping said. After Tian Tian finished her housework, she went to the animal husbandry team. She still has to work. Although the sheep, cows, and deer inside eat grass and do not need to go outside to cut the grass, Tian Tian must come to clean it. Tian Tian wore a mask and gloves, and was sweating profusely. It took 2 hours to clean the place. Because of the Chinese New Year, they work in shifts, 1 person per day, so that everyone only has to work for 1 day during the Chinese New Year. At other times, they can celebrate the New Year at home without even having to come to the livestock team. Here, as soon as Tian Tian took off the mask, she saw Chi Daniu running over happily. As soon as he saw this gossip girl, Tianation's mood improved inexplicably. Sister Tian Tian, something big happened, Chi Daniu shouted as she ran, wearing a thick cotton coat, swaying like a fat duck. What's wrong? Tian Tian was surprised. Is this news more exciting than the morning when her sister got married instead of her sister? Thank you for the reward. Please subscribe to the official version, there will be 5 updates today. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 455. 453. Tian Tian was very curious. Chi Daniu finally ran to Tian Tian and whispered, Sister Tian Tian, something big has happened. Did Chi Fenfen come back and cause trouble? Tian Tian asked. If Chi Fenfen also liked Li Mingkai, she would definitely not be willing to let her sister marry Li Mingkai. It's not Chi Fenfen, it's Chi Fangfang, Chi Jiangguo's sister, Chi Daniu said. Chi Fangfang said she is pregnant with Li Mingkai's child. This time, Tian Tian was stunned. Oh my god, how could this happen? Tian Tian was surprised. This matter has caused many twists and turns. Yes, Chi Fangfang said that there is Li Mingkai's child in her belly, and she is sitting at Chi Shulai's house and will not leave, Chi Daniu said. Now the people in the village are watching, wondering who Li Mingkai is dating. Chi Fangfang said she has a child. Can she tell that she is pregnant? Tian Tian asked. We wear such thick clothes in winter, and Chi Fangfang is originally a bucket, so you can't tell, Chi Daniu said. It's just that we rural people attach great importance to honors. If we say it without shame, everyone will believe it real. Then what? Tian Tian continued to ask, how will the matter be handled? Then Li Mingkai cursed and said that he had not violated Chi Fangfang, but Accountant Chi was still very angry. When I came, Accountant Chi was so angry that he cursed. Now he has sent someone to invite Wang Shuilian from Wangjia village to see what Chi Fangfang is. Are you pregnant? Chi Daniu said. Okay, I'll go back and check and tell you later. After watching Daniu Chi leave, Tian Tian completed her final work and went to have a word with Old Man Chi, Professor Wang, and others before slowly going home. When he got home, Jingyu was cooking with his wife. Dad, what's going on over there? Tian Tian asked. Chi Daniu, a little bitch, didn't know when she would be able to send her the next news. Jingyu said, It's not just a matter of dog biting dog or a hairy mouth. Little girls, don't ask so many questions, it will affect your xinxing. Forget it if you don't say it. He Tian Tian curled her lips. Her parents wanted to raise her to be a considerate lady, but she knew that that was not her pursuit. In this life, she only needs to be worthy of herself and her family. As for other people, if others treat her well, she will definitely repay 3 points. If someone treats her badly, she will be petty in return. After a while, Chi Danio came again. He Tian Tian directly brought Chi Danio into the house. How's it going? Follow up, he Tian Tian urged, wanting to know what happened next. Wang Shuilian is Chi Fangfang's aunt. After taking Chi Fangfang's pulse, she said that Chi Fangfang was not pregnant. Chi Danio said, then he scolded Chi Fangfang and took her away. He Tian Tian was stunned, frowned, and murmured to herself, since Chi Fangfang is not pregnant, why did she destroy her reputation and say that she was pregnant? After all, it was a happy event for her second uncle's family. Is it right for her to do this? Crazy. Yes, everyone in the village can't figure it out, Chi Danio said, and when I saw Chi Fangfang, she wasn't angry at all, and she didn't look like a madman. That's strange, He Tian Tian said, there is definitely a reason for this, but we don't know it yet. Yes, everyone is talking about it now, Chi Danio said, Accountant Chi's family's reputation has been ruined. Are you still getting married now? He Tian Tian asked. Accountant Chi spent so much money, food, meat, and banquets, and the banquet was ruined like this? Come on, I got the marriage certificate, Chi Danio said, people in rural areas are forgetful. After a while, everyone will laugh at it and won't mention it anymore. That's right, He Tian Tian nodded, continue to pay attention to the follow-up. By the way, you must also pay attention to safety. You know, Sister Tian Tian, I'm in the village and I'm not going anywhere, Chi Danio said, it's the Chinese New Year and the village is full of people, so it's very safe. After Chi Danio left, He Tian Tian told her family what she knew. Okay, this is Accountant Chi's business, so don't get involved. After all, our two families have a feud. If we pay too much attention, people will suspect that we are spreading rumors and adding insult to injury. He Jingyu reminded her daughter, don't let her talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense, He Tian Tian said, besides, I didn't let people do those things. They are dirty in private, and they won't let people talk about it. Little girl, learn to talk back, He Jingyu smiled helplessly, as his daughter became sharp-tongued and difficult to control. Grandma Chi-san was thoughtful, thought for a while and said, Jingyu, you can't say that. Then Chi Shulai's two daughters suddenly changed, and Chi Fangfang made a fuss about the wedding. Even if an outsider does this, there must be a very good reason, even more not to mention that Chi Fangfang is Chi Shulai's biological niece. Chi Shulai must have done something behind his back to let Chi Fangfang know about it, so he wanted to take revenge. Yes, that's right, He Tian Tian nodded repeatedly, feeling that Grandma Chi-san was right, and added, if it were other families in the village, I wouldn't talk too much, but for Chi Jiangguo and Chi Shulai's family, I would say more pay attention, after all they have done that before, I have to be wary of them. Seeing that his adoptive mother said this, He Jingyu couldn't refute, so he said, okay, I will ask village chief Chi privately later, he may know. Well, we must find out what's going on, Grandma Chi-san told her, and she also wanted to know. He Jingyu got the explanation from Grandma Chi-san and thought that instead of asking his daughter to inquire like a little bitch, it would be better for him to inquire. Village chief Chi didn't know either. There were a lot of discussions in the village, but no one had a definite answer. It wasn't until village chief Chi went to the commune for a meeting on the 16th day of the first lunar month that he heard some news from County Chief Niu, and he instantly understood what was going on. You said that Secretary Zhang's silly son has a crush on Chi Fenfen, Secretary Chi said in disbelief. He had accidentally seen Secretary Zhang's silly son, and his mouth watered whenever he spoke. It's not right to say he's a fool. It's just that his intelligence is about 10 years old, so he's mentally retarded. Yes, I heard that the silly son has been clamoring all day long to see Fenfen, so I asked someone to check it out. I guess there will be a happy event after the first month, Niu Peng said. He and Zhang Niansheng didn't get along, so he treated Zhang Niansheng is very concerned about things at home. I finally understood that Li Mingkai was friends with Qi Fenfen before, but when they got married, they were replaced by the eldest sister Qi Zhenzhen. When the wedding was being held, Qi Shulai's niece, Qi Jiangguo's sister Qi Fangfang, made a big fuss at the wedding saying that she was pregnant with Li Mingkai's child. The doctor found out that she was not pregnant, Secretary Qi said. On the 8th day of the first lunar month, Qi Shulai's house was very busy. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 456. 454. After hearing this, Niu Peng smiled even more cheerfully and said, I probably know what's going on. As luck would have it, he got some news. It had to be said that Qi Shulai was a difficult person to deal with. Brother Niu, tell me quickly, what's going on? Village Chief Qi also had questions on his forehead and couldn't figure it out. Qi Shulai was his old rival. Now that Qi Shulai had sent his daughter away, he was fawning over Zhang Niansheng. Although he had Niu Peng's support, he had to be careful not to let Qi Shulai take advantage of the situation. Do you still remember what happened to Qi Jiangguo back then? Niu Peng asked, his voice a little low. Remember, Village Chief Qi said, if it weren't for someone's help, he would have spent at least 3 years in prison instead of reforming through labor. By the way, this is strange. It's been almost 2 years, and Qi Jiangguo hasn't been released yet. Didn't you say 1 year of hard labor? The person who helped Qi Jiangguo was the former deputy county magistrate Zhang, who is now the village chief of Daowen County, Zhang Niansheng. His daughter Zhang Huan fell in love with Qi Jiangguo, so she asked her father to help Qi Jiangguo. However, Qi Jiangguo, why hasn't Jiangguo come out yet? Haha, it's natural that Qi Jiangguo made a mistake inside and got a higher punishment, Niu Peng said, his expression a little serious. I also found someone in private to find out. Zhang Niansheng once helped the activities, but still. Qi Jiangguo was not released because he probably offended someone who should not be offended. Village Chief Qi was stunned and immediately thought of He Jingyu's family. If he could have a mother who moved everything around in country M, how could He Jingyu's family be a simple person? Furthermore, He Tianatian's fiancé is not an ordinary family, and he will not let go of Qi Jiangguo, who is trying to bully He Tiantian. That's it, Village Chief Qi understood. Zhang Niansheng saw that Qi Jiangguo could not be fished out, so he told his daughter about a family who was expected to get married in the second half of the year, so he gave up on Qi Jiangguo. He thought about quickly finding a wife for his son and giving birth to a grandson. Otherwise, he would have worked so hard for so many years. But it's all in vain, Niu Peng said. Yes, no wonder Qi Fangfang went to make a big fuss at her cousin's wedding. It turned out that she knew that the Zhang family had given up on her brother. She didn't dare to come to the Zhang family to make trouble, so she went to make trouble for Qi Shulai. Village Chief Qi said with emotion, because of this in the village, this incident spread like wildfire, and now I finally understand what it means. Don't say you don't believe it. I didn't believe it when I first got the news, Niu Peng said. Qi Shulai sent a beautiful daughter, which shows that the plan is not small. I am here in the county, Zhang Niansheng. Even if you take action, you still have to pass my test. But you, Qijia village, have to rely on you, and I can't help you much. That's natural. If I can't handle the affairs in the village, I'm not qualified to be the village chief, Village Chief Qi said. He had suspected Qi Shulai of making small moves before, but he didn't expect that it was not a small move, but a big move. If Qi Fangfang hadn't caused this trouble, he wouldn't have doubted it and wouldn't have come to ask Niu Peng so quickly. After the meeting, village chief Chi returned to Kijia village and told He Jingyu the whole story in private. Apart from talking to He Jingyu and his wife, village chief Chi never told anyone else. Anyway, sooner or later, everyone will know about such things and understand what is going on, so he will not spread it. He Tiantian was stunned when she received the news from her father, He Jingyu. What a guy! This Chi Shulai wants to play a big one. First, he kept an eldest daughter with an ugly mole on her face, hired a dog-looking son-in-law, and gave birth to 2 fat grandsons. Nephews and sons-in-law are not reliable, so they still cultivate their own bloodline. Secondly, Chi Fenfen was used to get into Zhang Niansheng, who was the village chief of the county committee and a more powerful figure than Niu Peng. Chi Shulai has always regarded village chief Chi as his opponent. With such strong support, he will surely try to regain the power he lost before. Let's talk about Chi Jiangguo's retribution. Deserve it? But she had a vague feeling that someone might have intervened. He Tiantian knew that her family did not have such power, so it must have been brother Yingjie who took action. He Tiantian knew that although Huo Yingjie had not always been by her side, Huo Yingjie had made a lot of efforts behind the scenes to ensure the safety of her and her parents. He Tiantian was grateful and missed and admired Huo Yingjie even more. Let's take a look. There's no harm in doing more research, Grandma Chi-san said. This Chi Shulai's mind is not right, but he disguises his marks well on the surface. When he has in-laws like that in the future, his strength will definitely increase. You and Dazu should be more cautious when acting in the village from now on, and don't fall into the pit dug by Chi Shulai. He Jingyu nodded repeatedly and said, I remember my foster mother. I just didn't expect that there would be so many fights in a small Kijia village. Haha, there are fights everywhere, Grandma Chi-san said. Kijia village is doing well, but in other villages, internal struggles are even more severe. Hey, wherever there are people, there are fights, He Tiantian said with emotion. Chi Shulai's family has just settled down for a while, and someone actually climbed up to the county committee and village chief. As a result, Chi Shulai will start to tremble again. I don't know. What kind of trouble are you doing in the village? What are you afraid of? The soldiers will cover up the water and the earth. This Kijia village is not a place where Chi Shulai can cover up the sky with one hand, Grandma Chi-san said with a smile. Everyone has sharp eyes and they are not blind. They can always see clearly who is good and who is bad. Dad, you must assist village chief Chi to build up the peach garden in Kijia village so that the people of Kijia village can live a good life. In this way, village chief Chi's prestige in the village will be even higher, He Tiantian said. Village chief Chi is equivalent to the politician supported by his family. Although he is only in one village, he is very necessary. That's natural. He Jingyu chatted happily with Chi Dazu and admired Chi Dazu's character. Common people, whether they are innocent or snobbish, will always win everyone's support if they can bring benefits to them, Grandma Chi-san said. When Daowen is completed, the benefits of the entire village will be comparable to those of the big leader's family behind Chi Shulai. It's a great help to the village. That's Chi Shulai's in-laws, not the in-laws of the old and young men in Kijia village, so what benefits can they get? Knowing Chi Shulai's true identity, He Tianatian's family knew what he was doing and would pay attention to Chi Shulai's movements at any time. This Chi Shulai is also very patient, especially before the matter has been announced, and he will not let out any words. It has to be said that Chi Shulai is indeed village chief Chi's biggest competitor. Now village chief Chi is not without a backer, not to mention having relatives like Niu Peng, because Daowen is also well known in the city and is not afraid of Chi Shulai at all. On the surface, Chi Shu could not compete with him. Secretly, village chief Chi had done nothing wrong and was not afraid of Chi Shulai's mischief. Asking for genuine subscriptions and rewards. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 457. 455. Ye Xiaofan and Zhang Qingshan came back from their hometown and spent all the money they saved last year. Finally, they got their marriage certificate. They came together to give He Tiantian wedding candy. If He Tiantian hadn't helped, Ye Xiaofan might have been ruined. How could he have the good life he has now? So they are very grateful to He Tiantian. We are both short of money, so we won't do it. Just get the certificate and we'll be married, Ye Xiaofan said. This is our wedding candy, thank you. He Tiantian took the wedding candy and said, you are lovers who finally get married. As long as you love each other and live in peace, it's better than anything else. Yes, Ye Xiaofan blushed and said, Qingshan also said so. Work hard in Kijia village. We won't go back for the new year in the future. Save more money and give the children a better life in the future. By the way, has Sister Wu given birth? He Tiantian asked. Calculate the date, it's about this time. I had a stomachache yesterday, and asked Wang Shuilian to come and see. She said it would take a few days. Ye Xiaofan said, envying Sister Wu and Wang Lei. If they had gotten married last year, they might have given birth. He Tiantian smiled and said, that's great. You left home and your parents are not around. If you don't understand anything, just ask my mother and grandmother. Okay, Ye Xiaofan said, she will help Sister Wu when she gives birth, and Sister Wu will also help her when she is pregnant. When you are away from home, you can only get through the difficulties by helping each other. Inside the house, Zhang Qingshan and He Jingyu were drinking tea and chatting. Zhang Qingshan is now also learning fruit tree cultivation from He Jingyu, because he has a high level of education and has learned more than the people in the village. He Jingyu also values Zhang Qingshan and talks about this year's plan. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. One night in the middle of the night, Zhang Qingshan came to ask Wang Shuping to go over to help. Sister Wu gave birth. Wang Lei went to find Wang Shuilian. Wang Shuilian is not only a doctor, but also a midwife from far and near. Ye Xiaofan was taking care of Sister Wu in the house, and Huang Jingli was helping to boil water in the kitchen. Since Lin Xiru went to the county town, Huang Jingli's life has been peaceful, and her relationship with Sister Wu and Ye Xiaofan has improved. Now Sister Wu is giving birth and keeps shouting in pain. Huang Jingli can't sleep in the house and comes out to help. When Wang Shuping and He Tiantian arrived, Sister Wu was already sweating profusely and her face was hideous in pain. He Tiantian had never given birth before, but from Sister Wu's expression, she could tell that it was very painful. Xiao Wu, don't shout so loudly, you won't have the strength to give birth later, Wang Shuping said. Take a deep breath, exhale, inhale. Wang Shuping had a good relationship with Zhang Liping and had given birth before, so she knew what to pay attention to and helped adjust her breathing first. Wang Shuping was He Tianatian's mother, so these educated youths were also very kind to her. When Sister Wu saw Wang Shuping, she was no longer as frightened as before. She slowly adjusted her breathing, and it really didn't hurt as much as before. Thank you, Auntie Wang, Sister Wu whispered, with tears in her eyes. She left her hometown and had no relatives around her, but fortunately there were so many good people around to help her. Silly child, don't be so polite, Wang Shuping said, be brave, there are so many people around, you can rest assured. After a while, Wang Lei took Wang Shuilian from Hujia village. Wang Shuilian was slightly stunned when she saw He Tiantian and Wang Shuping. She didn't think much about it because the pregnant woman was about to give birth. In fact, it was not He Tianatian's fault for her cousin's affair with her. It was all because of her cousin's incompetence. Although she knew this, she couldn't help but feel sorry for her cousin's ruined life, so Wang Shuilian had some conflicts with He Tiantian. Wang Shuilian first took Sister Wu's pulse, then drove the man out, lifted the quilt on Sister Wu, checked the cervix, and said, don't worry, there's still a while to wait. After that, she touched Sister Wu's belly. The fetal position was very correct, and it should be easy to give birth. This wait lasted for 2 hours. Wang Shuilian checked and saw that it was almost done, so she said to Sister Wu, who was holding back from shouting, "Okay, now you can push hard." At this time, Wang Shuping drove He Tiantian and Ye Xiaofan out, leaving only Wang Shuilian and Wang Shuping in the room. About half an hour later, a baby crying was heard in the room. Wang Lei couldn't help but rush in, only to find out that a son was born. Wang Shuilian helped clean up and took the placenta away. Wang Lei thanked Wang Shuilian repeatedly, gave her 2 yuan and 10 freshly cooked eggs, and said, "Thank you, Qing Shan, please help me send Dr. Wang off." This was what Wang Lei had asked the people in Qijia village in advance. It was this price. When the child was 1 month old, he would invite Wang Shuilian to come over for a drink. Okay, Zhang Qingshan sent Wang Shuilian back. Although there was still a smell of blood in the room, the mother and child were safe, and everyone was very happy. Wang Shuping talked about some details and told Wang Lei what to pay attention to, and then left with her daughter He Tiantian. Wang Shuping used the fine cotton cloth and new cotton at home to make 2 floral cotton coats for the child and sent them over, just in time to replace the small cotton coat made by Sister Wu with old clothes. Wang Lei had a good relationship with people in the village. With his status as a high school student, he helped the young people in the village to eliminate illiteracy, so he had a son. Many people sent some eggs, food, or some cloth, so Sister Wu ate well during the confinement period and recovered well. The little guy, named Wang Bin, is a strong boy. In a blink of an eye, it was the 2nd day of the 2nd month, the day when the dragon raises its head. As usual, Grandma Chi-san fried a lot of salty beans and sugar beans. He Tiantian thought that the Snake King absorbed the energy between heaven and earth on this day last year, and maybe he would do the same today. A quick calculation revealed that He Tiantian hadn't seen the Snake King for 2 months. In the past, the Snake King was arrogant and had a bad temper, which sometimes made He Tiantian bored. But now that the Snake King has not been out for such a long time, He Tiantian misses him very much. So, He Tiantian went to the cave in the back mountain that night. This barrier can block everyone except He Tiantian, so He Tiantian got inside smoothly. 6 shotguns were lying on the ground, and He Tiantian threw these shady things into the corner. He Tiantian searched everywhere for the Snake King, but there was no trace of the Snake King. That night, her hands and feet were weak and she had no strength to clean up the place. Now that the Snake King is not seen, He Tiantian starts to clean the cave. Cleaned up all the stones and dirt scattered on the ground. It took a full 2 hours of tidying up to restore the cave to its previous clean state. He Tiantian looked at the time indicated by her watch. It was almost 12 o'clock, and there was still no sign of the Snake King. Although I am a little worried, considering that the Snake King is so powerful and should be at the top of the food chain here, I believe that nothing will happen to the Snake King. Please don't hesitate to book, order all genuine products, don't let the July 7th Chinese New Year be ruined. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 458. 456. At this moment, the originally calm pond suddenly moved, and the water rippled. This is definitely not a ripple that small fish and shrimps can create. He Tiantian took a few steps back, waiting for the Snake King to come out of the pond. Gurgle gurgle. The water in the pond seemed to be boiling, and the heat was getting more and more, gradually filling the entire cave, and the smoke was lingering. He Tiantian squinted her eyes and waved her hands, trying to drive away the heat around her. At this time, something with long horns came out of the pond. It was blood red and as thick as a bowl. It was a large bowl with a diameter of about 20 centimeters in the countryside. Snake, Snake King. He Tiantian couldn't believe her eyes, worried that she had made a mistake. The Snake King before was shining with golden light, thicker than Tianation's arm, especially beautiful and cute. But now the Snake King is all red. Although it also glows, it emits red light. And it is so thick that it looks scary. If it weren't for the engagement gift she received hanging around the Snake King's neck, Tian would never believe that this is the cute and arrogant Snake King. I have to say, he has become ugly. Yes, it's me, the Snake King said arrogantly. Although his voice was a little lower than before, his tone was still arrogant. Just based on this tone, it is the Snake King, there is no mistake. Tian looked at the majestic and mighty Snake King and said, the Snake King is mighty. It's different after surviving the 6 heavens of mysterious thunder. The Snake King looked at Tian steadily and didn't say anything. This made Tian feel very strange. Before, the Snake King would definitely say proudly, of course. Then he would wait proudly for Tianation's compliments like a tide. What's wrong, Snake King? Tian asked carefully, are you still injured? No, the Snake King replied, then raised his head and flew straight into the sky. Tian opened her mouth and stared at the Snake King flying into the sky in amazement. Then she heard a rumbling sound, and it started to rain. The Snake King's temper is more unpredictable than before, Tian muttered softly, but her eyes were always fixed on the sky. The dragon roar in the tiger roar and dragon roar is probably what she heard and saw now. Spring rain is as precious as oil, and the first rain of this year has finally come. It moistens things silently and awakens all things to grow. After a period of moving clouds and rain, the Snake King absorbed enough energy and finally was willing to come down from the sky. Tian looked at the time on the watch, it was already past 2 o'clock. Tian took off her socks and said, you haven't absorbed blood for 2 months. I'm here today, so hurry up. Okay, the Snake King was very frugal with words. Tian wanted to see how the Snake King, with such a big head, could absorb the holy blood. When the Snake King's red tongue touched the point on his left ankle, Tian felt numb and fell asleep again. After the Snake King absorbed the holy blood, his body shape changed and he turned into a red-dressed teenager. The teenager was about 16 or 17 years old. Because he drank more holy blood, there were bloodshot eyes at the corners of his mouth, cold and evil. After 3 days of black thunder, the Snake King could transform into a fat baby of a few years old, which corresponds to the young spirit snake. After 6 days of black thunder, the Snake King transformed into a 16 or 17-year-old boy, which corresponds to the growth period of the spirit snake. The next time, after 9 days of black thunder, the Snake King can become an adult spirit Snake King, and he will be a mature young man. The boy walked to Tian who was sleeping on the big rock, stretched out his white, slender, and cold fingers, and gently stroked Tianation's cheek. Warm and soft, completely different from his cold fingers. Bending over, you can also smell a fragrant smell. The boy's face was getting closer and closer to Tianation's face, so close that they could breathe each other's breath. Brother Yingja. Tian seemed to be dreaming. When she was asleep, her face was peaceful and there was a faint smile on the corner of her mouth. This whisper made the boy who wanted to get closer stop. She was dreaming, but the person in the dream was not him. Even if it was him, it was that fat baby, or the little silver snake, or the little golden snake, not a bloody and scary snake. The boy slowly straightened up, and his originally clear eyes turned red. He admitted that he was angry and jealous. Even if he could defeat Huo Yingja, he couldn't do that. Because no one knew Tian better than him, how important Huo Yingja was in Tianation's heart, so important that no one else could replace him. The Snake King was upset, and he thought he would see less Tian in the future. After 6 days of thunder, the Snake King had many magical powers again, and sent Tian directly to her bed at home, so that Tian didn't need to run back home in the middle of the night. After Tian disappeared, the smell of He Tien Tien was faintly left on the big rock. The Snake King recovered his body, took a sip of water, and sprayed it on the big rock where He Tien Tien had just been lying, dispersing the smell. But the Snake King knew that no matter how much water he had, it couldn't wash away the desire and feelings in his heart, as well as the increasing anger and jealousy. Yes, the Snake King didn't know what the restlessness was when he was young, but when he grew up, the Snake King instinctively understood what it was. Although he didn't want to admit it, he could no longer deceive his heart. In addition to cultivation, he couldn't think too much, otherwise he would have a demon in his heart, become greedy, and even resort to unscrupulous means. When He Tien Tien woke up the next day, it was already 8 o'clock in the morning. Wang Shuping prepared the meal and asked He Tien Tien to get up and eat. The Snake King has upgraded, grown up, and is closer to surviving the 9 heavens' mysterious thunder. If everything goes well, when the Snake King has enough power to tear open the space crack, he can return to his hometown and reunite with his family. As for her, she can also marry brother Yingjia and have a baby. Just thinking about it makes me feel that life is going well. When you are in a good mood, your complexion is good, and when you work, you seem to have endless strength. A rain on February 2nd is like a key, opening the door to spring. It is also like a pair of scissors, cutting out a fresh green dress for the earth. The trees and grass on the back mountain seem to be wearing green clothes, full of vitality. The winter wheat in the field is green and lush, and it has begun to grow. Now it has thawed. Secretary Chi brought good news from the county and started to build roads. This time, the whole county will gather strength to build a good road from Kijia village to the county town, passing through 7 or 8 villages such as Hujia village and Wangjia village. Once this road is built, it will greatly improve the traffic conditions of these villages in the mountains. People in other villages understand that this is due to the help of Kijia village, so when the county asked each village to work, the number of people in those villages was more than that of Kijia village. The road at this time is not a cement road, but a road made of mud mixed with lime and gravel. As long as it is compacted, even if it rains, you can ride a bicycle or drive a bullock cart, instead of all mud roads like before, which are very slippery when it rains. 5 more chapters today. Please subscribe to the genuine version and give me rewards. Oh, mathematical intersection symbol. Mathematical intersection symbol, oh haha. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 459. 457. On March 3rd, peach blossoms bloom in the peach garden. The pink petals show a beautiful color in the sun, like a little girl's face, cute and cute. Wang Shuping made peach blossom nectar and peach blossom wine, stored them, and could drink them in autumn. The alcohol content is not high, so it is suitable for women to drink to relax muscles, activate blood circulation, and beautify the skin. The work of the animal husbandry team was temporarily left to Professor Wang, Professor Gu, and others. He Tien Tien and Aunt Lu were all assigned to plant peach trees. Nowadays, peach trees are the top priority of Kijia village's work and cannot be neglected in the slightest. Peach trees were transplanted in full swing in Kijia village, and Director Yang and several assistants continued the work of excavating ancient tombs. Previously, because of the cold weather, the ground was frozen, so we could not start work and had to stop. When spring comes, it's time for them to start work. Comrade He, we are excavating ancient tombs very close to your peach orchard. You may need to transplant these peach trees, Director Yang said, coming over to talk to He Jingyu first. People are moved alive, and trees are moved to death. Although he won't die because of his presence, it will also affect this year's peach production. Director Yang, it's not that we don't support your work. Do you think this is okay? You start excavating from the robber cave. If there are ancient tombs under the Daowen, we will move them to other places. If not, then we will not move them. After all, these trees are 4 years old, which is the critical period for flowering and bearing fruit, so they cannot be hastily. He Jingyu said that what is underground is the national treasure, but what is above ground is the villager's crops and his hard work, and cannot be wasted casually. Director Yang saw that He Jingyu was not the kind of arrogant and unreasonable person, and others also said that it was not impossible to move, but there must be an ancient tomb underground. If not, people won't transplant it. Comrade He, please. Director Yang smiled and said, we will still need the cooperation of local people in our future work. That's for sure, He Jingyu said with a bright smile. After Director Yang went to a nearby place to start excavation work, He Jingyu went down the mountain to the village to find the village chief Chi and told him about Director Yang. Village chief Chi looked very ugly when he heard this. To put it bluntly, everything buried underground belongs to the state and has nothing to do with Kijia village, but the things planted on the ground are related to the income of Kijia village. I know this is the case. I will coordinate with Director Yang privately to ask him not to excavate the Daowen area, Village Chief Chi said. I won't hide it from you. County Magistrate Niu told me that last year's after the peaches were sent out, they received praise from many people. This year I went to the county for a meeting, and County Magistrate Niu specifically told me about this and asked me to ensure the supply of peaches this year. Haha, those leaders like it, He Jingyu said. If you transplant peach trees, it will definitely affect the peach yield. Who says it's not? Village Chief Chi said. There is an old saying in our countryside, people move and the tree dies. This tree must not be moved. Even if there is something underneath, let them dig holes from other places. In this matter, you don't worry, leave it to me. You and your wife should just work hard and keep an eye on the peach trees. Well, don't worry, the weather this year is very good, and the survival rate of saplings is very high, He Jingyu said. He was very confident about this. This year's production can be increased by 50%. Village Chief Chi was very happy. He Jingyu was an expert in this field. With his guarantee, he could feel relieved. Afterwards, Village Chief Chi had a talk with Director Yang. They discussed it and did a test. It was found that the soil under Daowen did not have the good rammed soil unique to the mausoleum, so Daowen was safe for the time being. However, I also received news from Professor Yang that there must be a large tomb not far from the robbery cave. Village Chief Chi, our manpower is limited, and we still need the manpower and material resources of Kijia village. Director Yang could directly request it from He Jingyu, but he did not dare to talk big to Village Chief Chi. A strong dragon cannot overpower a local snake. Because for the excavation work, it is simply not enough to rely on just a few of them, and people from Kijia village must be recruited. Village Chief Chi was very puzzled after hearing this. Director Yang, it's not that we won't help you. You see, it's spring now. After the peach trees are planted, spring plowing will begin. Only after the spring plowing is completed, can I allocate manpower to help you. Curator Yang also knew the importance of spring plowing, but he was worried about the long nights and dreams, and hoped that the tomb could be excavated as soon as possible. Village Chief Chi, do you think this is good? I don't want more. You can first help me find 10 strong men to help with the work. We have funds and can subsidize them, Director Yang said. Don't want more. Just 10 people. We will add more people after the spring plowing. Without enough endurance, they simply can't do it. After hearing this, Village Chief Chi reluctantly nodded and said, then I'll go and ask first to see if anyone is willing to come. Then we'll have to trouble Village Chief Chi, Director Yang said politely. It's better for the county magistrate to take charge now and not to offend Village Chief Chi. After Village Chief Chi left, Yang Huiwai, a female assistant beside him, who was Director Yang's distant niece, muttered in a low voice, second uncle, you are such a humble official, why are you so polite to them? You are still young and don't understand the ways of the world. Director Yang shook his head and said, as the saying goes, the king of hell is easy to meet, but the devil is difficult to deal with. If our attitude is not good, then village chief Chi will say that we cannot delay the spring plowing, or no one will come here. Help, even if we come from the city, we can't borrow anyone from Kijia village. You can't borrow from Kijia village, we can borrow from other villages, Yang Huiwei said dissatisfied. It's not like we give subsidies to those who work in vain. It's not impossible for other villages, but our work is confidential, and everything we unearth is valuable, so we find someone to help, preferably nearby. In case of theft, we can also ensure that the scope of the investigation is minimal, and we can find it in the shortest time, Curator Yang explained. You have a lot to learn, don't be anxious, read more, listen more and talk less. I understand, second uncle Yang Huiwei agreed. Although she was disdainful, she did not dare to refute her uncle. After graduating from high school, she also broke up with others before working in a museum. Her backer is her second uncle, and she cannot offend him. In her free time, He Tiantian came over to cook for He Jingyu. Now He Jingyu is almost always in Daowen during the day and has no time to go home for dinner. Her mother, Wang Shuping, is also very busy, so He Tiantian usually prepares meals at home, and eats them with Grandma Chi San first, then brings the vegetables, and then cooks some vegetable soup for her father, served with vegetables and pancakes, which tastes good. Only by being able to eat delicious meals can the tired bodies of He Jingyu and Wang Shuping be able to quickly recover their strength and carry out the next step of their work. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 460. 458. Three of the young male archaeologists often saw He Tiantian going up the mountain and discussed it privately. I never thought there would be such a beautiful flower in Kijia village, Sun Aguo whispered. It's just that I'm already engaged, otherwise I would definitely pursue her. Hey, what a pity. When a rural girl arrives in the city, she has no job, no food supply, and can't afford to support her, a man named Ma Quiliang whispered. He wanted to pursue her, but thinking about the food shortage at home, his family was she would never be allowed to marry a rural girl. I would like to pursue him, but I'm afraid that others will look down on me. Wu Qingtao is short and has ugly facial features, so people sometimes call him Wu Dalan. When Tang Xingxin heard what they said, she curled her lips and said, you really want to eat swan meat, and He Tiantian is not a girl from the countryside. He Tiantian works in the livestock team, and we will stay there to get to know each other better. He Tiantian is an educated youth from Nanshi City. Her parents are experts in supporting the development of agricultural and sideline industries in Hawaii City, Ontario. They enjoy special subsidies from the province and the city. Moreover, He Tiantian is the only daughter in the family and is very good looking. So good looking, can I fall in love with such a crooked melon and cracked jujube like you? After hearing this, Sun Aguo rolled his eyes and said, according to what you said, then He Tianatian's family is in good condition. It's not very good, Tang Xingxin said. Have you seen that peach garden? Those are special grade peaches developed by expert he and his wife. I heard that they are supplied directly to Yanjing, and they cost 60 cents a pound. He also received a pound of food stamps. For this research alone, He Tianatian's parents received a reward worth 1,000 yuan. 1,000 yuan, Ma Quiliang exclaimed, enough for us to work hard for 2 years. Yes, I also heard that He Tianatian's parents have an income of 200 yuan a month, including various tickets, and their family conditions are good, Tang Xingxin said. Isn't that right? Huiwei. Tang Xingxin and Yang Huiwei live in the animal husbandry team. They heard all this from Aunt Lu. Maybe that woman named Lu is talking nonsense, Yang Huiwei said angrily. Besides, no matter how rich they are, what does it have to do with us? It has nothing to do with you, it has something to do with us, Wu Qingtao said. I have decided that starting tomorrow I will pursue He Tiantian. Okay, Tang Xingxin smiled. He Tiantian has a fiancé. He is a scientist who develops high-tech materials. He is much better than us who dig graves all day long, and I don't think much of you. Tang Xingxin said this on purpose. She couldn't see Yang Huiwei pretending to be aloof. She came in through the back door and acted so arrogant, thinking that others didn't know that she was Director Yang's distant niece. However, although I hate Yang Huiwei, for the sake of Director Yang, everyone is not as knowledgeable as her, and they don't look at the monk as much as the Buddha. Really, Ma Kuliang didn't have a girlfriend. He was about 1.8 meters tall and strong. He heard that He Tianatian's family conditions were so good, so he became interested. Of course it's true, Yang Huiwei said, then He Tianatian's partner is a high-ranking disciple. He has a bright future, but ordinary people will look down upon him. Yang Huiwei was somewhat interested in Ma Kuliang, but Ma Kuliang knew the details of Yang Huiwei. Although she was Director Yang's niece, she was a distant relative and not close to her. The most important reason is that Yang Huiwei is not as good-looking as Tang Xingxin. She is too ordinary and the discerning Ma Kuliang cannot look down on her. Ma Kuliang smiled and said, "That's not necessarily true. The seventh fairy is still a fairy, and she doesn't like Dong Yang. The weaver girl can also like the cowherd boy. Why can't I give it a try?" When Wu Qingtao saw what Ma Kuliang said, he stopped completely. Who made him look ugly? He was not as good-looking as Ma Kuliang. As for Sun Aijun, he did not speak, but listened to see if there would be any opportunities in the future. Ma Kuliang's words made Yang Huiwei even more angry, and she said angrily, "Rogue." After speaking, Yang Huiwei walked away while carrying the lunch box. Tang Xingxin smiled, blinked, and said, "Aren't you afraid of offending Yang Huiwei?" "I've wanted to offend her for a long time." Ma Kuliang frowned and said, "Don't worry about meddling in things. It will be annoying to watch." Because of his work relationship, Ma Kuliang could not avoid Yang Huiwei, so he could only use words to stimulate Yang Huiwei, making Yang Huiwei angry and retreat when she was in trouble. Tang Xingxin smiled and said, Hui is sincere to you, so just accept her." "Yes, Kuliang, it's rare for a woman to fall in love with you," Wu Qingtao said. "His conditions are poor, as long as there is a woman willing to live with him, but there has never been one." "Just her," Ma Kuliang shrugged. "With Yang Huiwei's temperament, she can make our family crazy. I won't even marry a wife." "Qingtao, why don't you pursue her?" Wu Qingtao shook his head repeatedly and said, "People look down on me, and I don't want to invite an ancestor home." The four of them were chatting and laughing, while Yang Huiwei was sulking alone. The next day, Village Chief Chi agreed to Director Yang's request and sent 10 people up. However, the middle-aged men in the village did not want to come, so they sent the half-grown young men in the village. Zhang Qingshan, He Tiantian, Wang Lei, and Huang Jingli were assigned. Euphemistically speaking, these are educated people, literate and good at communicating. In fact, it is all because these people are not experts at work and are sent here to make up the number of people. Director Yang was helpless. After all, it was spring plowing at this time, so it was good enough for Village Chief Chi to send 10 people up. He Tiantian temporarily left the work of the livestock team to Aunt Lu, and followed her up the mountain to excavate the cemetery. In fact, He Tiantian didn't like this kind of work, but the cave was nearby and the Snake King was practicing in it. He Tiantian was worried about disturbing the Snake King's practice, so she wanted to come over and watch. In fact, she was more worried that the Snake King would get angry and eat the people who excavated the cemetery. When Chi Daniu saw He Tiantian coming over, she volunteered to come over. She liked working with He Tiantian the most. He Tiantian and Chi Daniu also got along well, and he was willing to take Chi Daniu with him. "Just a few of you," Yang Huiwei suddenly became unhappy when she saw He Tiantian. "There are 4 more in the back, come right away," Wang Lei said with a smile. "We are new here, so please take care of us. Tell us what you want us to do, and we will resolutely obey orders." After hearing this, Yang Huiwei showed a strange smile and said, "Okay, you can move away the big rocks that have been cleared." Following the direction Yang Huiwei pointed, Wang Lei and others looked over and saw large and small piles of stones everywhere. Fortunately, they were not very big. "Okay, let's start working." Wang Lei was also unambiguous. "The allowance of 1 yuan a day is not low, so work hard." Zhang Qingshan smiled and said, "Girls, you just move the small stones, and the men move the bigger ones." Everyone agreed and started working, talking, and laughing while moving the stones. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 461. 459. Ma Kuliang often looked over there, especially when he saw He Tianation's rosy and fair face, he couldn't help but feel itchy. Yang Huiwei looked gloomy, lowered her head and said nothing. The corners of Tang Xingxin's mouth turned up, as if she was watching a good show. "Sister Tian Tian, I noticed that that person has been staring at you," Qi Danio said. "At first glance, he is not a good person and is rude." Qi Danio is 15 or 16 years old this year, and reminds He Tian Tian like a little adult. "Okay, we are not familiar with those people, so we don't need to pay attention to them." He Tian Tian smiled and said, "Come on, you move the small one here, and I will move the big one." "Sister Tian Tian, you are so kind to me," Qi Danio said with a smile. She has always been the one to take care of her younger brothers and sisters at home. Only when she is with He Tian Tian can she feel loved by her sister. He Tian Tian smiled and said, "Because you are also very good to me." From that day on, He Tian Tian and others began to assist Director Yang and his team in their work. They don't know much about archaeology, and the most they do is moving rocks and cleaning up soil, which is pretty simple. He Tian Tian received Huo Yingji's letter again and read it carefully several times. She felt sweet but felt a little strange. She wrote a letter to Huo Yingji, and this time Huo Yingji's reply was a bit off topic. He Tian Tian was a little doubtful that someone else was writing the letter in Huo Yingji's handwriting, but she carefully checked the handwriting and the previously prepared code, and they were all correct. The smart He Tian Tian quickly thought of another possibility. The letter was indeed written by Huo Yingji, but he had written it in advance and had someone send it to her after receiving her letter. This fool. It took a lot of effort. He Tian Tian didn't know much about Huo Yingji's work in her previous life, but she knew about high-tech materials research and always valued confidentiality. It was probably because he couldn't write to He Tian Tian that this happened. Forget it, just pretend not to know. Although Ma Kuliang fell in love with He Tian Tian, he also knew that it was inappropriate to approach him rashly, so he always chatted with He Jingyu every day when eating. Under Ma Kuliang's deliberate friendship, we quickly became familiar with each other. As both intellectuals, He Jingyu and Ma Kuliang could get along well with each other. Yang Huiwei felt very anxious and angry when she saw that Ma Kuliang was either peeking at He Tian Tian or chatting with He Jingyu. "Oh, this Ma Kuliang is serious this time," Tang Xingxin said. "Huiwei, you'd better give up, so as not to waste your time on Ma Kuliang. Besides, there are so many good men in the world, so don't hang from a tree." Tang Xingxin persuaded with half-truth and half-lies. Yang Huiwei glared at Tang Xingxin and said, "Eat your food quickly and don't talk nonsense. Good intentions are treated as a donkey's liver and lungs." Tang Xingxin rolled her eyes and said, "I don't know the heart of a good person." When work started in the afternoon, Yang Huiwei shouted, "He Tian Tian, come here and move all these things away." "Okay," He Tian Tian agreed. When she saw Yang Huiwei pointing at the big rocks, she was unhappy. Even the men couldn't move them, and she couldn't move them either. Although she is very strong, 180 kilograms is no problem, but these big rocks are estimated to weigh 200 to 300 kilograms, and she is too exhausted to move them. Why don't you come over and move? Yang Huiwei felt secretly happy. What's the point of being good looking? It's not that you have to obey her orders. He Tian smiled but said slowly, I can't move it. Continue to move the small stones with Chi Daniu, but never move the big stones. Without professional machinery, manual removal would be too difficult. If you can't move it, get out. Don't take money for nothing and do nothing here, Yang Huiwei said coldly. Work hard from now on and don't delay your work by making irresponsible remarks. He Tian was not angry yet, but Chi Daniu became angry. She pointed at Yang Huiwei's nose and cursed, no man can move such a big stone. If you ask Sister Tian to move it, you are a woman who is clearly making things difficult for others. Joe Poppy, you are not as mean as you. How can we say we get paid for nothing? It's our labor force. You are sent by the village to assist us in our work. You must obey our arrangements. Yang Huiwei was pointed at and scolded by a girl from Chi Daniu, which made Yang Huiwei even more angry. He Tian was laughing on the side. This Daniu Chi was also a sharp-tongued person and followed Aunt Lu. You also said that we are sent by the village and are not your subordinates at all. Why should we listen to you? Pay the money and settle the bill now and quit. Chi Darniu said, I am not as bullying as you. Yes. We are assisting, not obligating. The noise here made Wang Lei, Zhang Qingshan, and others not far away hurry over. Daniu, what happened? Wang Lei asked, thinking that someone was bullying Daniu Chi. Chi Daniu repeated what Yang Huiwei said before. At this time, Wang Lei and Zhang Qingshan looked ugly. Not to mention, they were all helped by He Tianatian's family, so the content and tone of Yang Huiwei's bossy words made them very unhappy. Although they can get paid by working here, they are also very tired. Since we don't like our work, then we won't do it. We worked for 7 days and each of us paid 7 yuan. Let's pay the bill quickly, Wang Lei said. He didn't want to do this work for a long time. He had to take a shower and change every day when he got home. Clothes to prevent bad luck from spreading to children. After all, it is a dead man's tomb. Although it is archaeology, in the final analysis, it is just digging someone's grave, which is not authentic. You want to rebel? Yang Huiwei took 2 steps back. She didn't expect that a few more words would trigger such a strong backlash. You are not worthy of rebelling. Zhang Qingshan spoke much harsher than Wang Lei. The quarrel here attracted Ma Quiliang, Sun Aguo, and others to come over quickly. After they knew what happened, they all looked at Yang Huiwei. Those stones, as the curator said before, are just here. They won't be in the way. Why bother to move them away? Ma Quiliang frowned and said, you must have not listened to what Director Yang said this morning, right? This is to find a step for Yang Huiwei. At the same time, it also made Zhang Qingshan, He Tian and others feel very unhappy. It was obvious that they were bullying others. Did the curator say that this morning? Why did I hear that these stones were to be moved away? Yang Huiwei felt very guilty when she saw everyone glaring at her angrily. If she got into trouble in front of her second uncle, there would really be no room for maneuver. Then you heard wrong. We all heard that there is no need to take it away, Sun Aguo said, saying something for Yang Huiwei. After all, his uncle is Director Yang. Oh, then I may have heard wrong, I'm sorry. Yang Huiwei looked embarrassed. At this point, she had to apologize. She was so angry that she wanted to slap He Tian twice. He Tian smiled and said, since I heard wrong, let's forget it. Chi Daniu wanted to say something but was stopped by He Tian. Genuine subscription. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 462. 360. After work was over, Chi Daniu finally couldn't bear it anymore. Sister Tian, why didn't you let me say it? That Yang Huiwei is obviously targeting us. Chi Daniu also has a cheerful temperament, and she can't bear to be wronged, especially when she is with He Tian, she also learns to speak eloquently. He Tian smiled and said, "We are not the same people as her, and we don't know her the same way. Anyway, the work up there is very tiring, and I don't want to go. What about you, are you still going?" "Sister Tian, if you don't go, I won't go either. I can't stand Yang Hui's face. She thinks she's great because she's from the city. She looks down on people with her nostrils turned upward. Why can't she go to heaven?" Chi Daniu despised her. He said, "Sister Tian, I will follow you wherever you go to work. I can learn a lot from you." My mother also said, "Let me learn from you." "Haha, I'm not as good as you said. If you like to be with me, then come over." "I'm quite bored alone," He Tian said. After several things, her relationship with Chi Daniu became even more intense. Close. He Tian likes Chi Daniu's frankness and temper towards her. The kind of people He Tian dislikes the most is those who talk in a roundabout way. Sometimes, if you don't listen carefully, you won't be able to hear what they want to say. They have too many tricks, just like the 18 bends on a mountain road. The next day, He Tian stopped working, saying that she couldn't do it anymore. During the time she was working on the mountain, the Snake King was practicing in the barrier and did not come out. Those people could not enter the barrier, so she was not worried anymore. In this case, who would go to the mountain to look at people's faces? She is not short of money. Chi Daniu saw that Jen He Tian didn't want to go, and as a little follower, she didn't go either. Wang Lei, Zhang Qingshan, and a few other young men in the village still went, but they were no longer serious about their work as before, and they were just muddle along, working one day at a time. Seeing that He Tian was not coming, Ma Quiliang asked Wang Lei. Wang Lei smiled and said, "Haha, Tian and Daniu are not feeling well. They have told Secretary Chi that they will not come." It sounded like an excuse at first, but they didn't want to come, and Ma Quiliang couldn't call them over anymore, so he was depressed for a while. Yang Hui felt happy when she saw that He Tian didn't come. Even if she was angry yesterday, it was still useful. At least she couldn't see the annoying He Tian anymore. If she had known that she could drive away He Tian, she would have done this a long time ago. Tang Xingxin saw Yang Hui like this, and while she was gloating about her misfortune, she was also glad that she had not become such a person who has no self for the sake of men. The excavation work of the ancient tomb is proceeding steadily. After the people in Kijia village finished their spring plowing, they immediately started building roads. Not many people were willing to dig graves. On the one hand, everyone felt it was unlucky, and on the other hand, they felt that even if Qin Shi Huang's coffin and countless treasures were dug out of the tomb above, they would not get half a cent from them, so who would be willing to work on it? Anyway, road construction is a bit tiring, although it's not much, but it's a pleasant job. Yang Guan had no choice but to dispatch people from Huai City to help. However, on a dark and windy night, a group of people also came to the back mountain of Kijia village. This man is Lu Lao Er's younger brother, Lu Lao Er. He knew that his brother wanted to be a big hit, but the mother-in-law at home had a baby, so he didn't come with him. "But for so many days, I didn't wait for my eldest brother to come and bring someone over to take a look. At this glance, it doesn't matter, it is obvious that this is a big tomb. But now he has more important things to do, which is to find his eldest brother." After several inquiries, he heard that Hu Sanchuan was arrested, but he did not hear that his eldest brother and his group were arrested. Lu Lao thought that his eldest brother was fine, probably because Hu Sanchuan was arrested and went out to avoid the news. Lu Lao did not go to Lu Lao Da anyway. In their line of work, if they find something is wrong, they will run away. They will naturally come out when the wind is over. Now he was hiding silently, preparing to find a few more men. When the excavation area here was almost complete, he would start grabbing. Of course, it would be better if we could start from other places and enter the tomb chamber before these legitimate grave robbers. They could get the contents and fly away without anyone noticing. Lu Lauer explored the surrounding terrain, made some budget, and then went back to find people. The Lu family is a family of tomb robbers. They know how to rob tombs. They have a unique method of finding large tombs and they never make mistakes. At the thought of getting countless treasures, Lu Lauer's heart was filled with fire, and he shouted, "Get rich, get rich. Save time and effort by letting others do the work for them." I have to say that Mr. Lu is more bold than Mr. Lu. If Mr. Lu knew that Mr. Lu was dead, I wonder if he would still be so confident. If it were in the past, Lu Lauer might have investigated Hu Sanchuan's affairs carefully, but since he came here, he has been shocked by this big tomb. This was a type he had never been exposed to before. Whether it was the large number of treasures that were about to appear or the novel structure of the tomb, Lu Lauer was very interested. Maybe after completing this mission, Lu Lauer can also leave his own record in the Lu family's family diary. The Lu family is a family of tomb robbers, not only because of their superb skills, but also because of their family heritage. It has been recorded in detail over hundreds of years. These books are all must-read for the children of the Lu family. Only those who understand enough are allowed to go to the tomb. This is also the reason why other tomb robber families gradually declined and their members withered, but their Lu family was able to thrive and grow continuously. The eldest brother hadn't returned for such a long time, so the family sent him out to look for him. When Lu Lauer saw this big tomb, he complained that his boss was unreasonable and refused to tell him. Hey, but think about it, he and his eldest brother are direct descendants of the Lu family. Now is the critical moment for the fight for the inheritance of the family head. The eldest brother wants to make achievements and get the position of the heir. It's normal not to tell him. However, now the boss's plan has failed and he has left here, so this is his contribution. Likewise, if he gets the things from this big tomb, the position of heir to the Lu family will be his. It's not that he is selfish, but that Lu Lauer feels that he is more capable than his eldest brother. He is more suitable to be the head of the family than his eldest brother and is better for the entire Lu family. With such a dream, Lu Lauer was full of energy and kept paying attention to the progress. This ancient tomb must be won. Like Lu Lauer, Director Yang and the museum staff are also very excited. This is the largest tomb they have excavated in the past 10 years, and it will definitely cause a sensation. By then, wages, bonuses, and promotions will all be easy. Although the work was tiring, everyone was very excited and the work efficiency was extremely high. Seeking genuine subscription.